What is up, you guys? Naesam here, and today I'm going over all of the Shaman legendary items in Legion in the first tier set, at least what I believe is the first tier set. It doesn't actually completely specify. Either that or this is from the order hall. Either way, it's a tier set. We're going to go over it. We're going to do all of the specs, but we're going to start with Elemental because that's usually what I do. So yeah, let's get started. So the first three are the same for every spec, so I'm only going to go over them once. This one is a neck. After not taking damage for 5 seconds, you gain an absorb shield for 25% of your maximum health for 30 seconds. This effect may occur once every 30 seconds, so this is probably rarely going to actually go into effect, but on the bosses it does. It's going to be extremely powerful. And if bosses do a lot of damage on the opener, I'm sure it'll be good there too, because obviously you're not going to be taking damage 5 seconds before the boss actually starts. So that's my thoughts on this one. It's kind of weird for me being a DPS legendary, because most people are probably not going to use it, other than like people pushing progression super hard because they want to do more damage. And this is a ring. And rings, by the way, no longer have main stats other than stamina, so that's why rings have so many secondary stats. And I just pointed at my screen as if you can see my finger. Anyway, successfully applying a loss of control effect to an enemy grants you 70% increased movement speed and 15% haste for 10 seconds. This effect may only occur once every 30 seconds. So this is actually really good if you can actually CC something. And when it says the loss of control effect, I'm not sure that counts for roots. And since they took away the vendors about a month ago and they won't bring them back, I can't actually test that. But if it counts for roots, that's going to be extremely powerful. If not, we're going to have to take use of this, or we're going to have to hex things, which is very rare. This is probably going to be a lot more useful than hex most of the time. Actually, Voodoo Totem could possibly work too, even better than this. And by this I mean Lightning Surge Totem, the stun, which they actually did buff to being only a 2-second charge now. But it's still a 2-second charge, and Voodoo Totem is instant and super reliable when it comes to actually CCing, as long as the mobs are available to CC, or as long as they are viable to CC, like they aren't immune. 15% haste is mostly the part that's going to be good. This is kind of strange for being a PvE trinket, since it's rare that you CC things, it's rare that you even can CC things, and one of the benefits is 70% movement speed. It sounds like a PvP buff, but these are not usable in PvP, so that is very strange. These are legs. Standing still causes you to send deep roots into the ground, healing you for 4% of your maximum health every 3 seconds. That is pretty mediocre. Every 3 seconds, 4% of your maximum health. That is about 1.3% of your maximum health every second. That isn't too terrible, but you have to stand still. And I would assume there's like a charge up time. Like you have to stand still for a full 3 seconds to get any benefit out of it, which is going to happen semi-frequently. So I guess it's similar to this, but probably a lot worse. Unless you just stand still the entire fight, constantly taking damage. Now to get into the ones that are actually LE specific. This is Boots. Earthshock has a 30% chance to refund all of the Maelstrom spent. This is very similar to the Hellfire Citadel 2-set bonus, but not as good. But that 2-set bonus is kind of insane, so I'm kind of glad it's not as good, or this would be like a requirement. Back when they had the vendors, I did try this one, and it very rarely procced. I'm not sure if I was just getting unlucky or what, but I tried for like 5 minutes and only got like 1 proc. This would be really good if Earthshock is actually good. Right now it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but that's just a tuning thing, and I'm assuming they're going to fix that. So yeah, this one's pretty self-explanatory. I don't really need to talk more about it. This is another ring. Damaging enemies with your Fire, Frost, or Nature abilities increases... Support here. I'm being ganked, huh? Anyway, back to this. I think I was on this one, yes. Damaging enemies with your Fire, Frost, or Nature abilities increases all damage you deal by 2% for 8 seconds. Each element adds a separate application. This, I'm not sure if it's actually going to be viable to use Frost Shock to benefit from that, but otherwise it's kind of just like a 4% flat damage increase. Possibly 6% if you're willing to use Frost Shock, if it's worth it. It's not bad, it's not good. So this one is a pair of shoulders. Earthshock has a 50%, up to a 50% chance, based on Maelstrom spent, to cause your next Earthquake totem to be free and deal 100% increased damage. That seems like really bad design to me. Because basically, if the Shaman pools enough Maelstrom and gets really lucky, well, I guess 50% isn't that lucky, but it's basically a 50-50% chance to like kill the ad pack quickly and do really good DPS. It seems a little poorly designed to me. This is a belt. Lava Burst deals an additional 2,600 damage over 6 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. So that is not that great considering how little Lava Burst does. Well, yeah, Lava Burst does about 300k from one cast. Adding 2,000. Wait, why did it go to 3,000? Probably the buff. Either way, adding like 3,000 extra damage is not going to be that significant, and stacking is just kind of weird. I don't really fully understand what that means. Like if you cast with Echo, does it just apply twice instead of overlapping? I guess. Kind of strange. But yeah, that's not very much damage. Anyway, wrists. Chain Lightning deals 5% increased damage each subsequent target. So if you cast Chain Lightning on this guy, it deals 5% to here, 5% more to, 5% total more to this guy, 10% total more to this guy, 15% total more to this guy. And Chain Lightning hits 5 total targets, so it can be up to 20%. That's actually pretty good. And I like that it's just kind of a passive and not like super RNG like this one. So yeah, that one's okay. I like that one. So now for the set bonuses. This one, I did look into it. This one is the set bonus from the raid, the Nighthold. I don't know for sure if that one's the first one to come out. I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure that is it's like the Blackrock Foundry of Legion, where it comes out like shortly after, but it's still the same tier. So yeah, this one, these set bonuses for Ellie are pretty underwhelming. Increases the critical chance of your lightning bolt by 15%. And Elemental Focus generates... Why am I reading it wrong? Elemental Focus increases damage by an additional 10%. Elemental Focus, in case someone doesn't know, is this buff. Every time you crit, it gives you this buff. The next 2 spells deal additional 10%, increased damage, and healing. So it's now 20%, which, if you just go with Echo of the Elements, you can basically have really high uptime on that. You can even use it on Earthquakes. So yeah, that's actually pretty good, but it's kind of boring. Then these I actually didn't know what did, so I did some research, or I didn't know where they came from. And this blue set is from your class order hall. You get it by doing the last boss of every dungeon in Legion. I don't think it matters what difficulty. As long as you did the last boss in every single dungeon, you can buy this from your order hall. And the set bonuses are almost exactly the same for every class. I think it's just kind of like a base gearing system to get you to 8-10 eye level. So I'll only read like the differences after this first time. 2 set increases your out of combat generation in outdoor Broken Isle zones. 4 set, while you were below 35% health, you take 50% reduced damage in Broken Isles. 8 set, they did that in the wrong order, so I'll do the 6 set, increases intellect by 1,000. And the 8 set, Lava Lightning Bolt, Storm Strike, and Healing Wave have a chance to increase your critical strike by 700 for 10 seconds. So I'm pretty sure they're all exactly the same, like these same spell lists and everything, except that the last, well, I guess not the last, the 6th set changes your stats if you're enhanced to agility. So now for enhance. This just a disclaimer, I am not an enhanced shaman, but I do know like moderately how it works. So I'm sorry if I don't go as in depth as I did for Ellie. Same thing goes for Resto. And if you want to see these first 3, you have to go back to the other part, because I'm not going to reread it every time. Just for the people that watch the whole video, I don't want to sit here reading the same ones every time. So yeah. In this one, the ring is actually the exact same as the LE. I think it was actually a ring. Where just your Fire, Frost, Nature abilities increases all damage you deal by 2%. For 8 seconds, each element applies a separate application. This is probably going to be better for Enhanced than Ellie because they have a lot easier access to the Frost, Nature, and Fire school. Specifically the Frost one because they have Frost brand. So they do Frost damage frequently. So that's basically a flat 6% damage increase for Enhanced. That's pretty good. 6% doesn't sound like much, but it adds up if it's constant. In these wrists, Lava Lash deals 60% increased damage while your weapons are enhanced by both Flame Tongue and Frostbrand. So I decided to actually swap to Enhance earlier in Look, and you can have both of those up pretty much the entire time. So your Lava Lash is constantly dealing 60% increased damage, which is kind of insane.
I foresee that being nerfed.
Alright, I did not actually DC, but I did completely freeze for a minute. But we're going to go ahead and move on. This is a belt. Enemies hit by your Storm Strike become lightning charged for 15 seconds, zapping a nearby enemy every 1 second for almost 5,000 nature damage. So what I don't get is this is going to be like the equivalent to that Lava Burst one, but it does way more damage. The Lava Burst one did 3,000 damage for every Lava Burst cast, which granted is probably more frequent than Storm Strike. But this one, enemies hit by your Storm Strike, yeah, it's 15 seconds every 1 second is 5,000 damage. That would add up very quickly. That seems a little unfair, but yeah, it is what it is. So we're gonna go ahead and pretend that doesn't exist so I don't get sad. If Crash Lightning hits 3 or more targets, you deal 10% increased damage for 10 seconds. Don't see Crash Lightning in here, but I'm pretty sure it's like a 30-second AoE cooldown. So I mean, that's not great, but it's not bad. I don't know what else to say. Oh, look, someone's trying to gank again. While Ghost Wolf, this is feed by the way, while Ghost Wolf is active, the remaining cooldown on Feral Spirits recovers 75% faster. This one I was very confused about because I just don't understand why. This seems like another PvP one, because it's not that common that you're in Ghost Wolf in PvE. Unless they want to design raids where you're like racing each other around the side, I don't know. You're not that frequently in Ghost Wolf. Unless you're like, maybe if you're doing a specific mechanic where you have to run around, I don't know. This one's kind of strange. And Feral Spirits is like, it's either 2 minutes or 30 seconds. I think it's 2 minute cooldown. Or 1 minute. I don't know. I'm not an expert. But it's like, it's one of your burst cooldowns basically. Recovering 75% faster is not bad. Now for the enhanced set bonuses. So again, this is from Nighthold Raid. I don't know which placement it's going to be. It's probably going to be the equivalent of BRF, but in Legion. So Stormbringer also increases the critical strike chance of Storm Strike by 20%. If you don't know, Stormbringer is the proc that resets the cooldown and reduces the cost of your Storm Strike, so now it also increases the critical strike chance by 20%. That's pretty good, but not amazing at the same time. Lava Lash has a 20% chance to trigger Stormbringer, so it's very based around Stormbringer. That's, yeah, 20%, it's not amazing. It's pretty underwhelming for a set bonus, but it's also not, like, it's not bad. Like, some set bonuses in WoD, it was actually a DPS decrease to use, so I'm glad it's not like that. And, yeah, this is exactly the same as the Ellie one. If you want to see that, you have to go back. I'll probably put an annotation or something. The only difference is the 6th set bonus is agility instead of intellect. So now for Resto. And if you did not watch the other two, if you want to see these first 3 legendaries, make sure to go back to the Ellie part, because that's the only time I'm going to be reading them. So these are feat. Allies within your healing range receive 10% increased healing from your other healing spells. So if it's like a stacked fight, that's actually really, really good. 10% increased healing constantly. If it's not stacked fight, that's like moderate, I guess. You can like put it on the tanks or like the range or something, I don't know. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. This is a ring, healing wave, and healing surge. Increase the healing of your next chain heal by 20%, stacking up to 5 times. So that could theoretically double your next chain heal. So if there's burst phases of AoE damage, that can be absolutely insane, because you would normally not be casting chain heal until the AoE damage comes out. So by then you could have it stacked up to 100%, which is a lot of healing, because usually it already heals for a good amount. So yeah, that's going to be very, very good in some situations. In other situations, it'll just be okay. I don't think there's any situation where it's not going to be a very viable option. These are gloves. Increases the duration of Healing Stream Totem, Healing Tide Totem, and Spirit Link Totem by 20%. So this doesn't sound all that amazing, but I'm not sure if it's like this in WoD, but in Legion, Healing Tide Totem every time it heals you, it gives you a buff that increases the amount it heals you for. So increasing its duration for 20% is actually very significant. I'll go ahead and show you. See, every ticket heals you by an additional 10%, so 20% longer would be another probably 20, maybe 10%, which is pretty good. Yeah, it would be up to like 90% additional healing from the original tick. That is a solid legendary. That also helps with other totems too, obviously. So this is a belt. Casting Riptide on a target below 40% resets the remaining cooldown on Riptide. I could see this being useful, and I could see this being like the cookie cutter one because it's really easy to use. And compiled with your mastery, this could be really good. Riptide actually heals for a decent amount. As I say that, it did not heal that much. It healed for 66k. Last time I swear it healed for 120k. But yeah, Riptide being able to spam that could be good. Could be bad. I don't know. I'm not a Resto Shaman. Chain Heal reduces the mana cost of your next healing surge by 30%. These are your wrists. That, I mean, it's pretty good. That's all I really have to say about it. Pretty good if you have to cast Chain Heal a lot. You can just like Chain Heal, then use the healing surge on the tank or something. Again, I'm not an Enhanced Shaman or a Resto Shaman normally, but I did do some research specifically so I could talk about this and have some idea what I'm doing. But I'm still no expert, so I didn't get to talk about these as in depth as I did for Ellie. So my apologies about that. But we're going to go ahead and look at the item sets now. So again, this is from Nighthold. And 2-set Tidal Waves also increases the healing done by Healing Wave and Healing Surge by 10%. Tidal Waves, where did it go? Casting Chain Heal or Riptide improves your next healing wave or healing surge. It's not very specific, but I'm 99% sure it just decreases the cast time. Normally. So now it also increases the healing done by 10%, which is pretty good. And I'm sorry if that was loud, I just accidentally hit my headset. 4-set. Each time you trigger Tidal Waves, cooldown of your healing stream totem is reduced by 2 seconds. Tidal Waves happens pretty much every time you Riptide, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's Chain Heal or Riptide. So if you could use that one legendary with this, the one that makes you able to spam Riptide under 40% health, you could reduce your cooldown on this very, very quickly. Yeah, and this is the same as Ellie and Enhance, except for the only difference is that Enhance is agility. Yeah. So that is it for all of the info in this video. Now I'm going to discuss shortly, I said shortly before and it wasn't very short, but this time I try to make it short, my opinion on these legendaries. And I mean, I like some of them. I think they're kind of like cool. I think they're a nice touch to feel more rewarding, but I really, really don't like how you get them. I think that they're powerful enough that they shouldn't be so like easy yet hard. Like there's no skill required in getting them. You just kind of get it off a random mob. Yeah, basically anyone that doesn't know, these can drop off of anything in Legion. But probably not literally anything and everything, but just about anything can drop these. I think the chance to get one is like slightly increased in raids. But if they've decided against disabling them in raids for the first 2 weeks, so it's basically going to be before the raid comes out, you need to grind your ass off if you want to be a productive member in the raid. And if you're unlucky, then you're useless. I think what they need to do is either completely redesign how you get them, which it's probably too late for, especially considering they haven't even balanced them yet. We haven't been able to test them. They haven't changed any of them in a long time. I honestly don't even think they're going to be fully balanced by the time they come out. But that point aside, I think what they need to do is, if we're keeping this system, they need to increase the drop chance in raids, like, significantly. I know that would make it feel like it's not as legendary because you're getting them left and right, but if it wants to be balanced so we aren't completely screwing guilds that get unlucky, we need to have a high enough drop chance that within the first couple weeks everyone has one. Maybe a couple people have two, but it needs to be everyone has at least one DPS one, or like one, I guess one significant one that isn't like really bad. Which Theoretically, none of them will be bad by the time it launches, but we all know that Blizzard, they're pretty good at what they do, but they have a lot of legendaries attuned in a very short amount of time while trying to do so many other things. There's a very low chance that none of them are going to be bad, and there's a very low chance that none of them are going to be super overpowered by the time the first raid comes out. Because pre-patch alone is in probably 45 days or something around that, which is exciting, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it should be coming out yet, when we haven't even been able to test the legendaries and really give our feedback, because we can't even get them. If you want to get them, you have to go to the leveling server, get to 110, and go grind for them, and I'm not going to burn myself out on Legion already just by going out and doing something I'm not even able to keep. Mostly what I'm doing in Legion is testing classes and doing things like I'm doing right now and looking at things. So my opinion is that they need to increase the drop chance in raids. It would make the reward. It would make it feel less rewarding, but at the same time, do you sacrifice reward or do you sacrifice balance? And I think balance is more important for these types of things. So yeah, that is my probably not very brief, but attempted to be brief opinion. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I feel like they really should not have put it in like this. It should have been... I would have liked it if there was some sort of like questline, not like the legendary one right now where you go and do LFR like 50 times. I want one that's actually like challenging, but not unobtainable. That would be ideal. But this is how it is, and this is what we have to deal with, and I'm trying to give them my opinion on what I think they could do to save it. And if they don't, it's going to really suck, because we're going to have to go farm a whole bunch of boars or something until we get it. And that's not very fun. So yeah. That is the end of my legendary rant. So I'd just like to say that the reason I didn't make anything for like a month and barely streamed was because I was catching up in school. Something about having surgery in the middle of a school year, like a major surgery, makes it kind of difficult to stay on track, but I did manage to finish with good grades. But yeah, now I am done with that and I have a lot of free time, so if you want to see anything on beta, do let me know in the comments. I'm much more likely to do it if I get a suggestion, because otherwise I don't really know what people want to see. Because being in beta myself, I don't know what I'd want to know. Because I know it all. At least I know everything I want to know, I guess. So yeah, and also if you have suggestions for a ranged DPS that if you happen to be in beta, or if you've been watching beta, if you see one that you think would be fun, or like similar to Ellie, let me know that too, because I'm doing split runs in Legion and I need an alt. And the only ones I've tested so far were Shadow Priest and Hunter. And they were, I mean, I didn't dislike them. They weren't super special, but I could definitely do them. But I haven't tested anything else, and it's really hard to test right now, and I probably won't be testing until they make it so I can skip the whole intro quest, because that takes about an hour and a half just to get to the artifact quest. And you can't do dungeons or anything. You can't really test without that. So if you see any that look fun, please do let me know, and let me know whatever you want to see. Anything. Nothing is stupid unless it's like super commonly known. Like if you ask what specs there are for Shaman, I'm gonna call you stupid. But if you want to know how Shamans look, even though I've already done that one, but that's just an example, do let me know, because I will probably end up doing it. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you found this information useful, and I hope you didn't get too annoyed at my long and very fast talking rants. Yeah, and I also, if they make it so we can test these again, I will be showing them, all of them, in action, probably in this exact same spot, on this exact same character. They just need to add the big Tauren guy who sells them again. Yeah, thank you for watching. Like if you want to see more, comment what I told you to comment earlier, and just subscribe if you want to see more too. I guess I was supposed to say like if you liked the video. It's been a while, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.